Welcome to another episode of Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and tonight I'm going to share a theme video on automobiles on banknotes. This is by no means a complete list, and if you have additional banknotes that you can add to this list, please subscribe and leave a comment. And even if you don't subscribe, you're welcome to leave a comment. It'd be nice if my theme videos became a reference jump-off point for some of the neat ways that we can collect banknotes from around the world. I am going to start off right off by telling you that I haven't put any of the U.S. banknotes that have automobiles on them, so mainly because I don't collect those because I live in the middle of the U.S. and I collect world banknotes, and while I suppose the U.S. is one of them, they're not one that I normally collect. I have found some neat things about these banknotes from around the world that I am going to share with you tonight, and I wanted to thank Krause Publications. I would thank their new owner, but they haven't actually published anything since they've been owned by anybody new, so I'll continue to give credit to Krause for the standard catalog of world paper money, the banknote book, as well as various things I Googled on Wikipedia. And I also discovered a delightful blog from somebody. I made the assumption that it was a gentleman. It could be a gentle lady, but a banknote blog that had a lot of neat things about banknotes and specific banknotes. I was very impressed with that blog, and you should Google it and visit it yourself. I have a number of notes I'm going to share with you tonight, and we'll just go ahead and get started with the first note that I have up here. It is from the Seychelles, and I remember as a child, nobody told me how to say that word. I just assumed it was Seychelles. I still laugh when I see it, but we have a banknote from Seychelles. They are a beautiful They have beautiful families of banknotes, and I did email their central bank for more information, and I have not received. If I receive information, I'll put it in the comments section. But this note is of 50 rupees. It is a PIC 39 capital A, and we have a pair of automobiles on the back of this note. See if you can see them. Right there next to Little Bend, which is the name of that clock tower right there. We have two automobiles, and it almost looks like a photograph, and so I think it must be a random scene, but I asked if they had any clue as to what the make and model of the cars were, and I've yet to hear from them. So if one of you guys knows, please let the rest of us know. Lovely note. Followed by this note from Thailand, and this, I love Thailand banknotes, but I have kind of lost enthusiasm since King Bhumibol Adulyadej is no longer the king. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but I'm not so enthusiastic with the notes. Although this family of notes was very interesting because each denomination of the note has previous kings of the Chakri dynasty, and it's very clear that the present king is trying to link his credibility with that of the previous 9 kings of the Chakri dynasty, and there's various reasons to support this or not, and there's a lot of reasons to give him his chances, but I sometimes feel like people's behavior is sometimes their greatest contribution to history, and their misbehavior is reaps the whirlwind. It's their own fault, basically. But that's not what this video is about. The beautiful thing about this note, and it's nicely engraved, but the beautiful thing about this note is when you look at the back of the note. And right there is a lovely banknote of a car. I was like, what kind of car is this? And so I went to all these Thai sites to see if there was a Thai car, or maybe it was an import or something. This is actually a image taken directly from a photograph of when this king here visited Norway back in the 1800s. And while I still don't know the make of the car, I do know the name of one of the Norwegian gentlemen that is actually riding with him in the car. So I thought that was a pretty good story. And let's see. It is not anything that I recorded on there, but it is King Chulalongkorn during his historical visit to Norway. And so if you look around enough, you can find out that, yes, there is a Norwegian guy on a banknote of Thailand. I love stuff like that. Let's look at the next note that I have for you. This is a little note from Belarus, and it's a tiny note. It's their 500, I didn't even get that written down. It is a 500 something. I'm just not good with my memory right now. It's a 500 rubles, and it's one of the early rubles. And I just happened to notice it. And you see there's a bus. There's a car. There's a little car there. Oh, I have no idea of finding out just what those little cars are. I do hope somebody else has some information. Our next note takes us to Taiwan, or the Republic of China, or the rebel province, as China would have us assume. And we have this lovely 100 yuan. It is PIC 1983A, and it's similar to the Belarusian note in that you have a government building with lots of little cars around it. In this case, I count 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. 3 little cars. Nice trees. This makes me think of some of the U.S. notes that also have cars, the Treasury building, and, you know, different trees of different sizes around the White House and such. A neat note. Our next note takes us from Asia all the way to Africa, where I have for you a 50 kwacha from Malawi. And the neat thing about this note is we know the vehicle on the back of this note. Most of you probably noticed that splendid elephant first, but right in front of it is a rendition of a Landrover Defender. Landrover, anyone? So while I don't have a Landrover, I do have a banknote with the Landrover on it. I bet you we can get some Landrover enthusiasts to see this video online and go out and look for this banknote. So stock up, folks. You're about ready to get a lot of people wanting banknotes with Landrovers. Or not. The next note I have for you is from Transnistria. I like their notes. I don't know why. I can't read a thing on them. But we have here a Transnistrian... I didn't write it on my list either. I think it was a late addition to my my notes. I realized that it has a car on it, so I need to make sure I have that on there, because if I ever make a second automobile banknote video, I don't want to put the same notes on there. We have some sort of brewery on this the back of this note, I believe. And we have in the street scene a couple of cars. There's a parked one, there's one driving, and there's a vehicle in the background. These new vignettes look almost like photographs. I think they're truly impressive. And I think that with maybe some Irish or a Northern Ireland note, these might be some of the few notes that actually have a distillery on them. That might be another neat theme for banknotes. We're going to follow that up with the Kyrgyzstan 5 sum. Lovely, colorful note. Always enjoyed the simplicity, at the same time, the ornateness of these banknotes. Take a look at the back of this one. We have a scene of a classic building, some people walking around in front of the building, and over here on the left-hand side, we have a little car. Pretty cool, huh? This has got me thinking perhaps maybe Germany. Maybe people could start making some commemorative euros, and then Germany could actually have an Autobahn commemorative note that actually has some neat Japanese vehicles. I'm not thinking of a Mercedes or a BMW necessarily, but I was thinking of a VW Beetle or even a Porsche. I mean, there could be some neat notes that way. Let's move on back to Asia with this Filipino 100 peso. This 100 peso is PIC 208A. And it shows a car in the bottom left-hand corner in a scene from 1949. And I believe that is in front of one of the government buildings at the, one of the preliminary government, one of the new government buildings, or the government building of the moment. It's about this time that they got their independence and were setting up their own things. And God bless them. Over here we have a simple street scene. Over here we have the drama of their first assembly. Beautiful note. Let me show you what's on the back, although there is no car, I think, on the back of this note. Just a lovely volcano, map, and a whale shark. Beautiful note. Moving on, we're hitting up Honduras next. Honduras, 10 lempiras. I love the banknotes of Honduras, and it helps that I've been to Honduras repeated times I tend to super focus on banknotes of nations I've actually visited. And this is one of them. Let's take a look at the backside where I hope there's a car on it, else why have I put it in this video? And sure enough, right here is the university, City University. And running along in front of these university buildings is a road of some sort. And we have a couple of buses and some big trucks and some other vehicles right there. So kind of cool. Let's move back to Asia with this next note. This next note is from Cambodia, and it is a 500 rial. And this is one I have from 2004. And this 500 rial I have from 2004 has a beautiful Khmer temple on one side, perhaps Angkor Wat. But on the back side, we have a lovely bridge. And I like this bridge because right here we have the statues you often see on bridges in Asia that appear on either end of the bridge. And kind of like a guardian deity, but this one is a naga, so a multi-headed snake. But on the bridge, we have what looks to be a Porche. And I've looked online. Some people call it a Porsche 911 at the front, but they don't know what the back is because they're like, that doesn't look like any Porsche I've ever seen. And it may or may not be, but, you know, it's been cussed and discussed often enough for you to find out more about it on your own. Is that a Porsche? Is it a Porsche 911? Is it a different kind of model? The note came out before the model that people think this might be. I don't know. It just confused my head. I just got the note because I thought, well, it's neat, and it has a car on it. So there you go. I got that note, and I'm going to follow that with an additional note of 500 rials. This is from 2014. This is the 500 rials of 10 years later. There's the new king on there. There's a naga, or the multi-headed snake, there in the bottom left-hand corner. And when you turn it over, it's the same bridge. Only, well, I think it's the same bridge, but only this time, instead of having a Porsche, we have a number of cars. And I found out that this bridge was funded by the Japanese, and so that is probably why it shows a Nissan Juke right here getting on the bridge. So there you go. You can have a Porsche on a banknote or a Nissan Juke on a banknote. But interesting enough, Japan helped underwrite this bridge, and that's no small cost. We're going to move from Cambodia to Belarus again. I have 1,000,000 rupees or rubles here, and this is another building. And in front, it looks to me like not just for driving, it looks like there's a bunch of cars parked. And I'm sure somebody has in their mind what these vehicles are and maybe be able to give us an indication. But nevertheless, there they are, beautiful and interesting. And the final note I'm going to share with you is from Nicaragua. And I've always enjoyed the commemorative notes of Nicaragua, and this is no exception. This is a polymer note, and it commemorates 60 Aniversario del BCN, so it's like a central bank of Nicaragua commemorative. Maybe 70 years, I don't know. My Spanish is very poor. 70 or 60? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe 60? 60 or 70 years. Somebody who has any gift in languages, let me know. But it's the back of the note that I found to be the most impressive. Here we have the paseo, or the Pas Desnivel las Piedrecitas. So what is commonly seen in most nations of the world is seen here on the back of this note. But when I look at a note of this size and I think about how close I've been to the Nicaraguan border, I'm pretty impressed that the infrastructure is so recent and well developed. As well it should be, since I discovered that this highway was designed by a Mexican company, and it was paid for by the Japanese. And that's probably why, if you look at these cars really closely, you will see a Honda Accord, a Toyota Yaris, and a Mitsubishi truck. And there may be some other Japanese makes and models there, but it seems nice. The Japanese paid for other bridges in other countries, and they're getting their cars put on the road. So I don't know. I found this to be a fascinating topic to research and disappointing at the same time because I could find a lot on some of the notes and I could hardly find anything on the others. So let's go ahead and let me just toss this back up here while I ask you to consider liking my page, subscribing, and sharing my page. I now have more than 420 subscribers, so my march progresses. This is my 135th video, and I'm excited to continue to be able to provide content for my fans. If you like this, please share it, pass it on, and I'm getting ready to start school next week, so I want to ask you guys if you know any teachers of social studies or world history or things of that nature. Please give them my page, because my page's videos are very reasonable in length and can serve as resource or videos that they can research and do reports on, or just to share with the kids. Maybe perhaps just a warm up whenever they come into the classroom. Nevertheless, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Have a jewel of a day.